Hi, I'm Debbie Moed, Chair of AMIT's International Mother in Israel campaign, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our program. It's gratifying to know that you, like me, share a passion for AMIT's mission. This year's Mother in Israel campaign highlights our dedicated teachers and their absolute devotion to their students. As mothers, we give our all to our children, and AMIT's teachers do the same, creating a second home in their classrooms, nurturing and connecting with our students. AMIT teachers are true role models and sources of emotional strength who guide our students to discover their passions and reach for their dreams. Your participation in this campaign ensures that AMIT's 40,000 students, no matter their story or circumstance, receive essential academic, social, and emotional programming that changes the trajectory of their lives. Our partnership makes us all mothers, lovingly planting the seeds for a bright future for Israel's children. This commitment has been in my family for 4 generations, and I hope to see it continue in my family and yours for years to come. Thank you for your part in making AMIT's Mother in Israel campaign such a significant success. Thank you to all the co-chairs for their leadership in expanding the Mother in Israel event to an international stage, uniting our AMIT family with a shared focus. And now, I'm pleased to welcome our esteemed speaker today, Sivan Rachab Meir, an Israeli journalist, author, and public speaker. She will address us on the topic, Who Are We Now? Jewish Identity and the Global Jewish People After October 7th. Sivan and her husband Yedidia have 5 children and live in Israel after a period of community service in the United States. Sivan works with Israel's leading media outlets, including Channel 12 News, Yediot Achronot, and IDF Radio Galei Tzahal. I can attest to the fact that Sivan is on TV in my kitchen in Jerusalem every Friday while I'm cooking. I love listening to her and listening about the weekly Torah portion and learning a lot. She also somehow has the time to deliver a popular class on the Parsha to hundreds of attendees, while tens of thousands more watch live from around the world. Sivan lectures widely in Israel and abroad on topics of media, Judaism, Zionism, and new media. She was named Israel's most beloved media personality by Globe's business newspaper. Without further ado, I am pleased to introduce Sivan Rachab Meir.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah, for your flattering words, and shalom, toda rabah. Thank you, everyone. And it's my pleasure to be here. Just met you, Deborah, here in Yerushalayim on the holiday of Shavuot in one of the AMIT events I take part of. Let's start, because really there's a lot to say. And I also want to thank, first of all, the partners and friends and supporters, those who are connected to this beautiful project, the Mother in Israel campaign. Mother in Israel, Em Be'Israel. When Dvorah HaNevi'ah, the prophet Dvorah, when she introduced herself, she said, she could for sure say, when you look at the CV, she was a prophet, she was a judge, she was a leader, a coach, whatever. She did so many things, in so many fields. But at first she said, Ad shekamti Dvorah, shekamti Em Be'Israel, in the book of Shoftim. Em Be'Israel, it's a title. It's worth mentioning it, and maybe that's the first definition for many of the teachers and leaders and principals and mothers in Israel right now. Being a mother in Israel today, it means a lot, especially in the post-October 7th world, post-October 7th Israel, and we'll elaborate later. But first of all, I really want to just thank you for helping mothers in Israel right now. I want to start maybe with my personal story and connecting it to AMIT, and then telling us, thinking together, how can we face current challenges? What are the real challenges we're facing today? Is it just Hamas, or maybe there's a deeper message here? And how can you, with the name AMIT, which is America, Mizrahi, Israel, and Torah, maybe with the 4 most important elements right now, combining them, mixing them together, maybe that can be our solution, especially when you just said, Deborah, 40,000 students. It's a lot. It's like you have a party already. Like, don't go there. Don't go. We don't want to vote. The Knesset is we have enough parties, but still, I think the movement of AMIT in the Israeli society, the effect it has. I'm in touch with Dr. Amnon Eldar and the heads of the organization sometimes on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. We do a lot of projects, and I'm really impressed. Okay, let's start with my personal story. because as you said, and thank you today, I'm a journalist and I'm an Orthodox journalist, mother of 5, lives in Yerushalayim, but that wasn't the direction. When I grew up, when I was born, I was completely, I would say, unaffiliated, chiloni, as we say in Hebrew, secular, not connected, unfortunately, to my heritage, to our mutual treasure called Judaism. I wasn't connected at all. And what happened was, I was a journalist since I was really young, since the age of 6 or 5, maybe 7, I was already on TV. 6, I started interviewing kids to very popular kids magazines and newspapers in Israel. But since I was like 6 or 7, I was already on TV. Meaning, imagine interviewing people, important people, famous people, live sometimes every evening on the news. And what happened was, I became quite famous, and it became not just a hobby; it became my career. And what I think was maybe the game changer. I just want to just people to understand. I interviewed everyone. I interviewed Yitzhak Rabin of blessed memory, Shimon Peres of blessed memory, and I also interviewed the Power Rangers. They came to Israel back then, also of blessed memory. That was my childhood. I interviewed everyone, tens of thousands of people, really, all over the place. But at the age of 15, I first met 3 religious girls. It may sound weird because uh, it's the Holy Land, it's the Jewish state. Unfortunately, where I grew up, no one was dati, no religious friends. I never met someone who keeps Shabbat or someone who keeps kashrut until the age of 15. I think today the situation is different, but that was my childhood. And when I first met at the age of 15, 3 religious girls, they told me, okay, so I at first I looked at them as if seriously like UFOs just landed in Israel. That was out of my perspective, that was the concept. Religious girls, they probably speak Yiddish and they're supposed to be like black and white, and they probably, I don't know, ride the camel back home. For me, it was so primitive. I wasn't, it was like they belong to the past. They're the problem of Israel. I'm the solution. I was really, uh, as I said, secular and an activist. And what happened was, at first I tried to interview them, to have an interview, because 3 religious teenagers were found in the state of Israel. I saw it as a scoop, but then it was really ridiculous interviewing them. I was clueless, and it wasn't really going anywhere. And then they stopped the so-called interview, and they said 2 words, and those 2 words changed my life. And I'm here today because of those 2 words. You are asking me to speak to American Jewish leaders and supporters. And, I am who I am, everything I do today. I think it started back then. 3 girls told me 2 words in Hebrew, Boi leShabbat, come for Shabbos. That's it. I came and I fell in love and I started keeping Shabbat, and I discovered there are more mitzvot. And that was the beginning of my journey. The 3 girls were students, 15 years old, that's all, of AMIT of Beersheba. That's it, an AMIT high school from Beersheba. And I will never forget it. Their names are, by the way, Yael Amar, Shiran Kalimi, and Daf Nazrian. I can never thank them enough. I'm still in touch with the school, new staff there, new kids for sure, but I was just there a few months ago. It was really exciting. I think Nurit Davidi is now the principal, and she's the wife of Alon Davidi, the mayor of Sderot municipality. They're all part of this empire. But for me, it was really meaningful coming there. But let's start with the fact they affected my life. And I think if you're part of this network, you are a shaliach. You have a mission, you have a task. You have your responsibility. It's not just your knowledge. Share it with others. Give it to others. And especially today in the post-October 7th world, we'll get there. But first of all, let's start with this young teenager 20 plus years ago, curious, and knowing nothing about Judaism. And here it is, Shabbat. And I think, once again, sometimes we have treasures and we take it for granted. We do not appreciate our treasures enough. And I'm saying it now to our brothers and sisters in the States right now. I hope you will donate a lot. Let's be, in Hebrew, it's called dugri. We speak in a transparent way. You're here in order to support and support more. But maybe it's not just about the money. It's about your Shabbat table this coming Shabbat. Do you have an extra plate? Do you have an extra chair? That's it. Tell someone, Bole Shabbat, come for Shabbos. That's it. It might change his life, your life, maybe he'll be here in 20 years. He'll share his story with Mother in Israel project. Meaning, sometimes it's not about the money. They were just 15. Okay, it's sometimes affecting the Jewish world is just being Jewish, proud, active, engaged, devoted, and promoting your values. That's it. No coercion, no budget, no politics, nothing. They just asked me to come. I came and I fell in love. That's it. So simple. I once said this is the most boring tshuva story you ever heard. I'm sure there are more fascinating and extreme tshuva stories, but what can I tell you? That's my story, and I want to thank Amit whenever I have the opportunity to thank Amit for this, important step in my life. Now let's move forward. 20 years afterwards, I was really privileged to work with Amit. It started, I think, during COVID. We just came back from the States. We were there on Shlichut. World Mizrahi Movement sent us as a family to the States. We had to come back. COVID changed everything. And the world was, it's like sometimes, I think it was, things look so old. I call it BC, before COVID. It's like really so ancient. So when we came back to Israel and everything was upside down, some of the things were still there in the States. And how long is it going to last? And what's going on here in this world? And we had this, quarantine, and everything was so. And then Elad, Harav Elad Bar Shalom from Amit called me, and he said, let's start a Zoom shiur, a Zoom lesson once a week. You'll have your class on Zoom with Amit students everywhere. And for me, it was really meaningful. I hope it was also meaningful for them. We had like hundreds or maybe thousands of students. It was so easy connecting from Zoom. And the mothers also told me, oh, I wake up with you every I think it was Wednesday morning. And we had this tradition until COVID ended, thank God. And I'm not a teacher. I became one. And I was privileged to really have this process with the students, doing things every week, learning the parsha, learning about their life. COVID was quite a challenge. Before October 7th, we thought that's the peak. That's the, the real threat. And what happened was, until today, by the way, I live in the neighborhood of Nachlaot here in Yerushalayim, next to the American colony of Sharei Chesed and Rechavia. So sometimes when I walk the Machne Yehuda Shuk, the market, sometimes they reach out to me, teenage, and they're now 20 plus. Oh, you were my people. Usually they recognize me. They saw me on TV. But when it's about this project, oh, you were my teacher during COVID at AMIT. So I'm really proud. I'm not one of the teachers officially, but that was a beautiful project. I was really inspired. Learning with teenagers together and facing the threat together. That was really meaningful. Of course, today we have more new challenges. And I met the students here in Yerushalayim. There were more than 70,000 evacuees here in the hotels in Yerushalayim, more than 30 hotels. And I saw the schools, I saw the prince, I saw the staff, everyone working hard in order to have some stability in such an unstable world, creating the stability of chinuch, of education, of Jewish values, of Jewish halacha, of Shabbat, and learning and preparing themselves to the Chagim. Sometimes I saw really, maybe I should write it down someday, because I think it's an historic chapter in our history. Even not just the battlefield in Gaza, for sure. What happened here in the hotels, people working so hard. And I saw that really, it's not just Amit, the educational system in Israel, working so hard in order to give, the basic elements of education. It's the easiest thing to say, okay, let's postpone, let's do everything afterwards. No, we never say achar kach, we never say later. As Jews, I think this is one of the messages from this week's Parsha. I mean, we just started the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, the journey, the book of 40 years in the desert. And what's the center of our attention? Wherever we are, wherever we have to park and then go somewhere and then stop. Sometimes we stop for 1 day, sometimes for a few years, okay? And you never know. It's Hashem, Al pi Hashem yisau al pi Hashem yachanu. It's God telling us when to go and stop and where to continue. And wherever we are, we build the Mishkan first, the sanctuary, the altar, the spiritual, I would say, center. Okay, it's like focusing on the temple, the shul today. The spiritual center of the community is always at the center of our attention, not just physically at the center. It's seriously the first thing we do. It's the most important thing. Now, one can say, we'll get there to the land of Israel in 40 years, and then we'll start. No, Jewish education and Jewish holiness is always the first. When it comes to priorities, It's always the first thing we do. And I saw this message in my own eyes with your teachers and your mothers in Israel, here in Israel. The same lesson. We convey the message from one generation to the next, the Mishkan. And I saw it in the Midbar called the hotel, okay? You can see it in Ramada, and Vert Hotel, and Royal Hotel, and Prima Hotel. This was the current Midbar, okay, the current desert, and they built their Mishkan. I saw it with my own eyes. It was incredible. Baruch Hashem, they're almost all of them are back now, but that's the real challenge today. Being a Jew, a mother in Israel, in the north, in the south, wherever it is, so many schools of AMIT, it's still a challenge, and they all come back, and it's really, I'm in touch with the schools, and it's quite a challenge, but still, I think the Mishkan is the first thing we do before we deal with other issues and other problems in our life and other challenges. So, okay, I want to discuss together after sharing, this. We said it's Dvar Torah. First of all, we had a void. Okay, check. And I shared my personal story. Now I want to continue to our mutual mission in the post-October 7th world, and also in the AI era. I think we have two battles here, two different wars, completely different, maybe even the opposite. The most primitive war is against the Nukhba terrorists, okay? They are so primitive and so violent, and everything looks so, really, these are things I thought are over, and unfortunately our cruel enemies are still here with their really primitive ideology and agenda and everything you see in Gaza right now. And on the other hand, you have the most, I would say, intellectual, complicated challenge, AI, completely new. That when you read the Tanakh about our ancient enemies here in the Middle East, same story. What's going on right now with Hamas? They're the same cruel enemies that are supposed to be, completely defeated. But when it comes to AI, it's a new challenge. Now, what do we do, and how do we face both challenges, and as the Jewish people together? How do you face anti-Semitism in the States? It's anti-Semitism, also terror threats and hypocrisy, BDS, etc. Plus, dealing, that's an ancient problem. And how do you deal AI with everything that is connected from social media to everything that's around the area that is, and it becomes every day there are new issues to learn. It's not like it's like if you were an AI expert yesterday, it means nothing tomorrow morning. I mean, you're not an expert unless you learn it all the time, and that's lots of tense and lots of it's rapidly changing. So I want to give maybe one, it's just food for thought. I'm not an expert, and I want to think about it together. First of all, to define the framework, the context, okay? So I truly believe these are the two challenges we're facing together as Jews. As always, the solution is part of the Torah. It's in the Torah. Now, what do we do? I mean, how do we define it? How do we see ourselves as warriors in those two battles? I think when it comes to our soul becomes, our neshama is the key element here. I want to suggest a new, I would say, phrase: deep soul, neshama amuka. Here in Israel, we discuss the deep state. Deep state meaning, Supreme Court, etc., lawyer, attorneys, kind of controlling behind the scenes, controlling whatever going on in Israel. Deep state. And when you talk about AI, you hear about deep research. It's not just research. It's not just Google. Not just the information. It's the deep research. It can write your, assignments for you and research for you. So it's not just deep state and deep research. I think deep soul is the deep answer here. It starts with discovering who we are. It's the deepest. We cannot give superficial answers. It starts with, I think, Jewish identity, which is the coolest thing right now to the young generation. Wherever I go, I'm in touch with the Nova survivors. It's a huge tribe of Nova survivors. They want to keep Shabbat. They want to keep Kashrut. We spend Shabbatot with them here in Yerushalayim. They come. They learn Torah. They want to be more connected. For sure, tzitzit became the, it's not about, I hope it's about the mitzvah and not just fashion, but people love wearing tzitzit. It's about hafrashat chala. It's about learning Torah, keeping Shabbat, more tzniut, more kashrut. Sometimes you don't see it, okay? But if you look at the deep soul, the Jews are in a different place. They want more. They want to be more connected, and they want to do more. They understand the importance of mitzvah. I'm really surprised. I meet really evacuees and people from the Gaza border, from the kibbutzim and the moshavim, and for sure from the big cities of Sderot and Netivot and Ofakim. And I meet the warriors, IDF soldiers for sure. You see the way they sing and learn Torah and how connected they are. And I see their wives and kids, and I see the evacuees wherever they are, and just the young generation, wherever I go to high schools in the past, secular high schools here in Israel. Sometimes in the past, the questions were like, okay, how do you combine Judaism and journalism? What is your message to the nothing? I just had a lecture. People raise their hand. How do you keep Shabbat? How do you use? What do you do with the blech, with the pot, with the hot water? Practical tachlis halacha question. I'm shocked every time. I'm shocked because I still don't understand. The deep soul is here, and people want more. There are more kosher restaurants. I'm sure our American friends, they see it when they come to Israel. The shuls are packed. Talk to Chabad shluchim all over the world. Tfilin, it became like something you do every morning. So I want, sometimes AMIT students are the last one to understand how cool they are. Sometimes it's easier with those who are outside and it's not part of their system, it's out of free will. But I'm just saying to all of us Jews who are interested in Judaism, that's the challenge. Deep soul, people want more. My latest book here in Israel, it's not a commercial break, but the book I just published, called, 1 minute. Here's a copy. Okay, here it is. Live. It's called Birkot HaShachar. Do you see it? Birkot HaShachar, the morning blessings. It was just published now, and I hope it's going to be translated. By the way, lots of AMIT teachers are teaching it already, and I'm really glad to be part of it, because and people at first ask, what's the connection? I mean, that's the book you're publishing now, the war and everything's going on in the world. Yes, people want tachles, they want halacha, and they want to start blessing. And for sure, those who already pray are interested. Deep soul, they want to have it in a deeper way. But also those who are unaffiliated, most of the feedback we get, most of the emails and people who text me, we just started saying Birkot HaShachar. We're looking for something to do for the hostages, for the soldiers, for our soul. We understand they attacked us because we are Jews. We want to be more Jewish. Yoter Yehudim. And you see it with the hostages themselves, from Agam Berger to Eli Sharabi, all those Jewish heroes we have right now. Okay, it's a new language. So that's, I think that's, we can elaborate, and it's a mission for our generation. But be there for them. Once again, Boile Shabbat is more relevant. And having this open attitude toward people, understanding the importance of this, be aware to the deep soul, because the news, unfortunately, they don't cover it. And if you're exposed just to the news from Israel, you seriously know nothing. You're not connected. Sometimes I think when you listen to the news, you're disconnected from what's really going on in the Holy Land. I mean, what they say, that every evening here in the news, every evening at 8, we say good evening, and then we prove to you why it's not a good one. So that's the general assumption. Now you should all be in touch with Israel directly, see what's going on, come and promote this direction. I'll just say something briefly about AI, because once again, it's really superficial. I'm a journalist, so I allow myself to discuss things in a few minutes. It's something it takes. We should really think about it seriously, and the teachers, the leaders, the mothers in AMIT are supposed to work on it on a daily basis with the students. It's not something just but what we say in a nutshell. So in a nutshell, AI, I think the real revolution for us as Jews of halacha. People ask, will it still be relevant? And I want to ask, will something except of halacha will still be relevant? Everything else might become irrelevant completely. Everything is gonna change, okay? The book I just wrote, 5 months ago, I was really writing it. Today, AI changes everything. The next book, AI will help me, or I will help AI, but it's going to be written in a completely different way. Everything around me here, everything around you right now, everything is going to be different. Except for one thing. AI can do everything. It can never bless instead of me. It can never light my Shabbat candles. It can never put your tefillin on. It can never keep Shabbat. It can never eat the matzah with kavanah and happiness as the bread of freedom. It can never build your sukkah and do the mitzvah of sitting there and take the 4 species of bat aminim. And it can never write a Sefer Torah because you need a kavanah. Maybe Sofer Stam is going to be the last, last one on earth writing with the ink and the, just preparing the Sefer Torah. And we are supposed to read out of it. No AI can be Yotzei Yedei Chova instead of me. So the concept of mitzvah, I think, is going to be a revolutionary concept. In Hebrew, it also rhymes. Hamahapecha shel halacha, the revolutionary concept of halacha. I truly believe we are going to be pioneers. Okay, in a few years, everything is going to be digital and the smart, and everything's going to be. It will buy the wine for me and pour it, but it cannot make the kiddush. Seriously, be mekadesh the wine? No, never. Meaning the essence of halacha, of doing practical things in this world, physical things in a world that is not physical anymore. I believe we have a revolutionary concept of maintaining, I would say, human connections. So that's one. Okay. I also think learning Torah is also we're gonna uplift learning Torah. It's the only way. Okay, there are tons of books here. The only one written by Hashem is the Torah I have, and that's the only way I can connect with something higher. And still, that's the only thing I can do as a human being. AI can write hundreds of books instead of me about learning Torah, and write Torah books, all kinds of completely full art scroll, Koran. It can write everything instead of us, the writers. But learning Torah, taking this brain, okay, that was created in the image of God, and connecting it to God through learning Torah, which is different than learning math, biology, etc. Once again, I believe it's going to be a revolutionary concept. So, as I said, it's superficial. It's just the beginning. But maybe we shouldn't come as Nebuch, AI is here, and I'm a Jew. I'm so miserable. I'm an Orthodox Jew. I'm frum. I'm not relevant. You are the most relevant person here, and we should teach the world about the revolutionary concepts we cherish and have for thousands of years. So these are just first thoughts. I encourage people, first of all, to reach out to me. I'm available, Facebook, Instagram, email, everything. You can get my daily WhatsApp in English from Israel. I write a daily message. You can Google my name, the daily WhatsApp, and have it on a daily basis. One message of chizuk, of strength from Israel. And what can I tell you? To be continued. The best thing you can do is, connecting America, Mizrahi, and Israel and Torah. I really like the name. That's connecting everything together and helping mothers in Israel. And we're all once again writing the next chapter together. Maybe write Be'ezrat Hashem Besorot Tovot, Yeshuot v'Nechamot to us and to all of the nation of Israel. Thank you very much from Yerushalayim, and Todah Rabah. Thank you.
Sivan, thank you so much for your fabulous, wide-ranging talk, for sharing your own religious journey and tying it into AMIT, which makes it even better for us, and also for really highlighting the new spirituality that's gripping the young people now post October 7th, and also for giving us hope in this confusing AI world that we will find our way, and that our way of life is going to really serve as the model. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. See you all in Yerushalayim. As a mother in Israel, Todah Rabah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.